Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Monday, the 13th of February, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 finished down 0.2% today to 7,418 points. Now, it could have been worse, but for a spike later in the day. It's all about earnings season, of course, with a number of large caps reporting. More of that shortly. Wasn't much good news among the large caps. All the big banks were lower, with National Australia Bank down nearly 1% to $31.38. Fortescue Metals was up 0.5%, but BHP and Rio were lower. Woodside was a standout, up more than 2%, while Santos jumped 1.7%, while Wesfarmers dropped more than 1%. Lynas Rare Earths share price tumbled 5% after it has seemingly failed in its attempts to delay new rules around its rare earths business in Malaysia, which is likely to disrupt its downstream processing operation. Software company Nui's share price fell 26% after reports that the Australian Securities and Investments Commission could drop the company when it chooses its new software partner next month. Beach Energy said revenue was down, but it still lifted its dividend, pushing its share price higher. And finally, carsales.com reported a solid result with earnings and revenue ahead of expectations. Its share price closed slightly higher. Story number 2, the Star Entertainment Group's share price tumbled 21% to $1.48 today after the group flagged a write-down of its Sydney casino of up to $1.6 billion, with a B, billion dollars. 3 things are hurting the Star at the moment. The New South Wales government is proposing an increase in the casino tax. The gaming group has had to overhaul its business to improve governance as a result of inquiries in Queensland and New South Wales. And third, the Star has a new competitor in its main market, with Crown Sydney now open. The big one really is implementation of the New South Wales casino duty rate increase from 2024. The Star doesn't report for another 9 days, and today was just a prelude to the final numbers. It did say gaming revenue in Sydney was down sharply, but that's somewhat been offset by stronger turnover in Brisbane and on the Gold Coast. Story number 3, JB Hi-Fi's share price fell 5% today after it said it would need to increase discounts as cost of living pressures bite. Also, Endeavour Group, which owns pubs and bottle shops, said it's experienced a solid start to 2023. And insurer IAG's share price jumped more than 5%, which was the best of the top 200 today, even though profit margins halved during the 6 months to the end of December. Inflation is eating into the company's car and home insurance market, i.e. the cost of getting stuff fixed is more. But IAG, which owns NRMA and CGU brands, said premiums in those markets are rising by double digits. The bottom line for the company was much higher than 12 months ago because IAG wrote back about $252 million in provisions that it had put aside during COVID but didn't need. The company will take a $236 million hit in the current 6 months thanks to the floods in Auckland. Chief Executive Nick Hawkins was upbeat about the year ahead. Story number 4, property giant Lendlease narrowed its first half loss thanks to higher earnings from its investment business, but investors didn't like the result and its share price fell more than 6% to $7.79. The diversified developer, investor and landlord took a $200 million hit from a defective buildings provision after the UK government required developers across that country to extend the defects liability period on residential buildings from 6 to 30 years. Lendlease said demand for luxury apartments at its Sydney projects was strong. The 3 towers at One Sydney Harbour were 88% pre-sold. That's about $1.4 billion worth of sales. The residential component of its planned One Circular Quay Tower was 30% pre-sold. It's about $800 million, but the group warned of inflation and interest rate pressures. And finally, story number 5, tens of thousands of homes in northern New Zealand are without electricity as Cyclone Gabrielle brings high winds and intense rainfall to the country. The centre of the storm is expected to be off the coast of Auckland later tomorrow. Officials are warning people to be ready for high seas and storm surges, surface flooding, falling trees and landslips. Some residents in low-lying areas north of Auckland and along the east coast have been urged to evacuate. Trans-Tasman flights were suspended today. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 13th of February, 2023. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Tuesday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.